I was raised Catholic, and I was always in church, and I loved God. But as I got older, I started to realize, much older, that my friends, they didn't go to church as much as I did, and they didn't seem to have any hang-ups like I did. And so I decided that I would give up on God. Why do I need Him? But then a few stressful things came into my life. I had my first baby, a little girl, and I went into early labor at 5 months, and she only weighed 1.5 pounds. At that time, 40 years ago, they didn't try to keep babies alive that were that small, so she only lived for 4.5 hours. And then during that time, my mother was dying of cancer. In fact, she died on my baby's due date. So I had Mark, and I didn't realize it at the time, but he was allergic to milk. And he just cried and cried and cried all day. I just cried all day when he cried. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, I'm going to commit suicide. Then I looked at Mark and I said, who's going to take care of this baby? I'm going to take him with me. And I proceeded to take his life. I cut my wrist and I held a pillow over him so he couldn't breathe. But I called out to the God that I had given up on, and I said, God, please help me. And something told me to call the police. And I called the police, and the police came. And the policeman revived Mark because he literally wasn't breathing. They revived him, and I was sent to a mental hospital. And I yelled out to God again, and I said, God, I'm not crazy like these people. Please help me. And He did. My godmother called while I was in the hospital, and my mother-in-law told her that I had a nervous breakdown. And I was going through postpartum depression. I didn't know it at the time. So my godmother said to me, why don't you come to St. Rose's prayer meeting? And at that time, the Catholic Charismatic prayer meeting was in full swing. So I went, and the Lord touched me, and I said to Andy, I said, we have to get back to church. We found the Lord, and we received the baptism of the Holy Spirit, and we were able to bring up Mark as a Christian. But I always kept it a secret of what happened. And when Mark was about 5 years old, we were in town, and I saw the policeman who revived him, and I went up to him and I said, I want to thank you for being used of the Lord, that you revived my son. And Mark heard it, and Mark said to me, Mommy, what does revive mean? And I says, I'll tell you when you get a little older. And every once in a while he would say to me, Mommy, what's that thing that you wanted to tell me? And I says, I'll let you know. And I never told him until I moved here to Nashville, and he was 35 years old. The Lord told me, you can't keep it a secret anymore. You have to let people know. And so I told him, and I never knew that he would be a pastor. And that's the reason why the devil didn't want him to live, because he knew what Mark would become, and God would use it for His glory. God is a God of restoration, a God of forgiveness, a loving God, a faithful God. Even though I gave up on Him, He never gave up on me. And God will do whatever it takes to get us to turn back to Him, or to turn to Him. If it wasn't because of how loving He is, I wouldn't have my second son, Matthew. Also, I wouldn't have 6 beautiful grandchildren.
Boy, I'm so proud of my mom and what she was able to accomplish through life and getting a fresh start. I didn't hear this testimony until the age of 35 years old, all my life I knew my mom loved me. I had no idea of what she went through. And so this testimony, I believe, will minister to many of you. Some of you have gone through hell. Some of you are going through it. And this is an opportunity for you to hear about how great God's plans are for your life, no matter what you're going through. Jeremiah 29:11 says that God's plans are for us, for the good for us. And honestly, many of us don't feel it. And like my mom didn't feel it, but God used circumstances. He used a mental institution. He used the Catholic Church. He used all these circumstances to bring her to God. And I'm so thankful that He did. And today I'm here with 6 kids, my mom's 6 grandkids, alive today, my brother alive today because of what God did intervening in time to bring life and hope to a dire situation. So today, may this testimony be a blessing to you. Let it speak life into your life, to know that God has a plan for you regardless of what you think or feel today. He loves you. His grace abounds more than what you can think or ask. And I'm just so thankful today that He stepped in time, rescued me, my mom, and my family. And I'm alive and well today because of that.